What's going on, gamers? I got another topic for us to talk about when it comes to PSSR 2. If any of you guys got the update, let me know what's going on. But this topic is something that's kind of like a debate right now on Twitter, and stick with me through this. People are wondering, and I want you guys to let me know what you think about this too, or what you know. Will PSSR 2 boost your frame rate? Now, I say in a way it can help with frame rate, but I'm not going to say it's going to be a gigantic boost. It just depends on the game's CPU bottleneck and other things. But this is a topic that we need to talk about this video because it's already something that is being argued with. Right here on Twitter by K-Med, he's saying, I see a lot of people saying that PSSR or PSSR 2 doesn't affect frame rate. And that's entirely wrong. I'm going to have to agree with him. PSSR can boost frame rate on the PS5 Pro by rendering at a lower internal resolution, then AI upscaling to 4K. This saves significant GPU power for higher and more stable frames per second. Now here's the thing. If you toggled on PSSR or PSSR 2 and you stabilized 60 frames per second and got a better image quality, but you turned it off and you tried to get that image quality and your frames dropped, did it not help your frames? It's a serious question. It's like, answer the question, either yes or no. Whereas like, okay, well then I want you to do that image quality at native 4K then, right? Yeah, ask me, do people do that, guys? And say, no, do PSSR and tell me if PSSR looks better or just as good as that, and you're getting 60 frames per second. Did that not help your frames? Yes, it did. Like the guy said, by rendering at a lower internal resolution, the AI upscaler, taking it to 4K, saves significant GPU power for higher and more stable frames per second. We're going to get to some comments here in a second too, because this is definitely something interesting. Yeah, guys, I can't wait to get back my laptop so I can get on the damn camera and talk to y'all. But hey, we got some good music. We're still talking here. So, and thank you again for all the support. Now, he says, now, if Crimson Desert is CPU bound, then no, PSSR probably won't do much for those frame dips if they're caused by hitting the CPU ceiling. Yeah, because at that point, you need more CPU power to run the frames better. 100%, you would have to lower the resolution. So it's kind of like a double-edged sword on the topic of saying it's not 100% guaranteed if that game is very CPU heavy. You know me, I'm not going to give you guys no false information over here. Going down to the comment section, and it gets very spicy. He says, I think I'll take another console generation. I think it'll take another console generation before people understand that upscaling doesn't help with CPU bottlenecks. We weren't necessarily talking about that, but we were saying that if you had a CPU bottleneck and you couldn't get the frames that you wanted because you wanted to do a higher resolution without PSSR, by putting on PSSR and lowering down the internal resolution but getting almost the same image quality where you could barely tell and get higher frames, then it's helping you in that sense. That's the only way. You see what I mean? That's why you can do PSSR 2 60 frames per second ray tracing. And remember, the PS5 Pro has a higher clock speed on the CPU. So yeah, that's something that we need to talk about. So we got some comments to get through here. And he's like, yeah, probably. Some people still ironically think the human eye can't see more than 30 frames per second. It definitely can. It's bold of you to assume people will learn after 100 generations. That's pretty funny. Okay, so here we go. He says, so if there's particle slider in the settings on consoles and you happen to turn it down or off, could this improve frame rate at all? That just depends, dude. He says particles are not CPU intensive because they don't interact with anything. The situation with frames issues are only the ones with lots of interacting elements, suggesting CPU limitation. So I don't think reducing particles would help. I think he's pretty much correct about that. He says PSSR doesn't give better performance compared to PSSR 1. Bullshit. Yes, it does. It just gives much better reconstruction. I don't know about that. I think that's not true because it's also fixing problems that you have. You're getting better performance with it. We've seen that with Resident Evil Requiem. What are you talking about? Because of that, you could have ray tracing there. I don't know about that, bro. And if I'm wrong on this, you guys let me know what you think about that, because I don't think that's correct. James Cummings says FSR, what the base consoles use, does the same thing. The only difference is superior image quality and reconstruction due to machine learning from equipped capable hardware. FSR is a traditional upscaler at a software level. They both can boost frame rates. Exactly. That's what I'm saying. Look, I say this because some PlayStation fanboys I notice kind of overextend its actual capabilities of its guaranteed automatic 60 frames per second mode switch that can just magically fix CPU bottlenecks. I never said that. I was just telling you games that were doing that. Like Crimson Desert can do it because it's really optimized. That engine is actually really good. And the Pro has the math to do it. And it's not super CPU bound. If it's not, then how can it not? This is a quick guide. Here's the thing. If it's CPU bound, that's arguable. It's like, yeah, I understand that. But if it's not CPU bound, it can definitely help more. It's not a question. It can. And most games are GPU bound. He says it's a guaranteed. He says, yeah, they were basically saying that. So let me get back to this. Like he said, I say this because some PlayStation fanboys, they basically overextend it as if it has a magical switch for 60 frames per second mode. 100% correct. Which can magically fix CPU bottlenecks with PSSR 2. And if it doesn't, they turn around and accuse developers for unoptimization. I mean, a lot of people can do that in the PC world and everywhere else. I personally skipped upgrading to the PS5 Pro because my original PS5 can still play PS5 titles. No problem. I don't know. PSSR 2, like that, it sets itself apart. Digital Foundry has already shown you that. You're getting higher resolutions and getting 60 frames per second with ray tracing on high. And we saw that on Crimson Desert. So this guy says the AI algorithm is more computationally expensive. The performance increase would come from developers choosing lower internal resolutions. So we rest our case. It can help with that. Everybody knows this. If you try to do native 4K compared to upscaling is going to help you get that image quality and give you better frames. So how is it not helping with frames? That's a debate that I'm like, no, man, it does. That's not a question here. So this guy says the frame dips were with PSSR 1. So PSSR 2 is not going to fix those frame dips. If it's CPU bound, I get what he's saying. That makes sense. He says, yes, it can boost and stabilize frame rate. It won't magically turn a 30 FPS game into a 60 FPS game. 100%. But it can help stabilize. I don't understand, guys. It's almost like, and I want you guys to hear me out. Do you think that FSR 1 and FSR 2 are going to give you the same frame boost as FSR 3 or 4? Do you know how much better FSR 4 is than FSR 3, 2, and 1? And how much better DLSS 4 is than DLSS 3, 2, and 1? It's almost like somebody asking that question. Why would it not help out more? It definitely is a damn improvement. What are we talking about here? Don't we know frames it helps out? But it's where you can add in stuff like that. So I'm under the impression that as PSSR gets better and better, it's going to be able to add in frame boost options into its system. You see what I'm saying? So yeah, if you guys got something else to add in, please let me know. He says it can help with CPU bottlenecks. If PSSR 2 allows GPUs to use smaller part of power budget, that's more power for the CPU. It frees it up. 100% correct. So it just depends on how you look at it. Because this is definitely going to be a topic that's going to come up, guys. I'm telling you right now. And it's already coming up and people are arguing about it right now. There's a lot of comments on this thread right here. So this guy says clearly the Pacific scenario, which is Digital Foundry, because he's talking about John, demonstrates in the video as being a problem area was a CPU issue. It is likely going to be exactly the same stupid discussion as with GTA 6. I don't know about that because Rockstar has a ton of money. It depends on how much you dump into your system. It's like saying that, oh, this game is on Unreal Engine 5, but I guarantee you if I put that game on the Ghost of Yotei engine, that's not going to be a problem. So would you say that's a CPU bottleneck, or is that an Unreal Engine 5 problem? It can be the engine. It could be the upscaler problem. It could be like you see what I'm saying? You can't necessarily say it's always a CPU bottleneck. It depends on the game and the situation and the engine and the developers. Because not everybody does things the same way. When you got games like Ghost of Yotei embarrassing other games, Crimson Desert doing the same thing, and you got games that came out years ago and they couldn't do it. So I don't know about that. But this is a topic that I kind of wanted to bring up and keep things going. Guys, I think we're getting very close because they said that PSSR 2 is coming out for Crimson Desert day 1. So this gives you the idea that it will be before the 19th. Detective Seed said it. For Crimson Desert, PSSR 2 will be implemented day 1 on the PS5 Pro, though he still has some, answering to do. Any issues with frame dips shown during PSSR 1.0 should be fixed with this patch. Can't speak how this is going to run on base PS5. That's why I was saying that in that case, it does help. So that topic is pretty much what we're talking about in this video. Let me know what you guys think down in the comments below. As usual, thank you for all the support again. I can't wait to see more results so that we can shut all the haters up and the doubters down. Later, y'all. Peace out. Have a great night. Keep gaming no matter what platform you're on as usual.